Hello, students. Mr. Davis here. I want to talk a little bit about drama. Um, I apologize for the delay. I've had some connectivity issues that were impacting my ability to interact with the internet. I think they got those sorted out. And Also, I am in the process for my full-time job to reapply for my position because the contract is changing hands and the new company is taking over, and it's just a big mess. But anyway, I was able to update the content on Blackboard to prepare you for the final sprint. We're in the final third of the class, and we're sprinting very quickly, 3 weeks to the completion of the semester. So I want to give you a little intro into drama and to give you some things to think about when you're preparing to write your papers. Now, considering the fact that we have about 3 to 4 weeks left, what I recommend you do is, as you're reading the play, definitely download the drama essay requirements. Go ahead and select a topic that's listed in those requirements. And as you're reading through the play, make sure that you write down some notes, things that you want to talk about in relation to that topic that you've selected from the requirements document. In addition to that, those questions that you're wanting to answer, those are going to be great things that you can use to focus on when you're trying to perform your outside research. So if you go to the library's website and comb through the databases, or if you want to use Google search engine, you can use that. Just make sure that whatever source that you want to use is an academically credible source. If you have any questions about the credibility of those sources, please let me know. And I will look at it and I will get back with you. I apologize. I got neighbors over here that are mowing right now. It is absolutely brutally hot out here, so I'm surprised that they're even attempting to do that right now. So looks like he's on the far end, so let me get through this pretty quickly before he comes back around. And okay, there you go. This shuts off. Okay, so yeah, definitely. First thing you'll want to do is download that requirements document. Go ahead and select your topic, and then really focus on the questions related to that topic whenever you're writing down notes, when you're reading through the play, as well as when you're conducting your outside research. You're going to want to look for sources that kind of back up the points that you're wanting to make while you're answering those questions. Okay. The paper is about a 5 to 7 page paper. I realized that in the summer, we have a shorter term, so I didn't want to go too crazy with the length. So anywhere in the range of 5 to 7 pages should be enough to allow you to answer all of those questions that are defined in the topic, and to give you enough meat to talk about in your paper, just to show me that you've at least attempted to read the play and to appreciate it enough to hold on. Sorry, I got an email coming in. That you appreciate it enough to conduct some outside research and really think about the questions related to your topic. Okay, so drama. Let me give you a brief intro to drama. Okay, so if you remember back, we were talking about fiction. We focused on character, plot, and theme. And then in poetry, we really looked at the imagery and symbolism that's defined in the poems. In drama, it's a combination of all those things. All right. One of the reasons that most people do not like to read plays is because there is the absence of a narrator that's guiding you, walking you through the scene, describing the scenes, the people. They're describing the setting, and giving you some exposition in addition to the dialogue that you're hearing with the characters. Plays don't have that. Okay, so plays rely heavily on your imagination to kind of fill in those gaps for you. Okay. Uh, and so the dialogue, through the dialogue between the characters, is where you're getting key information about the setting, the plot, what's going on between the characters. And sometimes you will get a little bit of exposition from one of the characters themselves in what we call a soliloquy, where they move off to one corner of the stage and they're not really conversing and interacting with the other characters. It's at that point where you're getting inside their minds and you're really understanding. If you can understand it, if you can comprehend the language, you're really getting a kind of an understanding from that character's point of view of what is going on, the who, what, when, where, and how, and why of what's going on in the plot. Okay. And that's a big turnoff for a lot of people. Some people like having the presence of a narrator there to do the hard work for them. Plays, you tend to have to do that work yourself. You have to really stay in tune with what the characters are saying, and it really helps if you're viewing the play. You kind of see the body language and the position of the characters on the stage to really get an idea of what's going on. Okay. So in drama, you're going to zero in on some key aspects, some key elements like character. And you get that from the dialogue that the characters share, not only with the other characters in the play, in the scene, but they're sharing that with you because you're reading it and or viewing it if you're in the theater. The setting is normally given at the very beginning by the playwright. And for example, in this play, it's set in Denmark. Shakespeare explicitly calls that out in the beginning of the play, that the setting is within Denmark. And you also get the idea that, well, the type of political structure that we're dealing with too. We're talking about a monarchy here. So you kind of get a feel for what the time period is all about as well. Themes and motifs are all throughout this play. And I could create a whole nother video outlining all the various types of themes that are wrapped up in Hamlet. Now, I originally planned that when I was going to do this video, I was going to start with the scene from The Lion King. That very opening scene where the music starts and you see the sunrise, and but because of YouTube's policies, and with their algorithms and stuff and copyrights, I was afraid that this video might get banned by YouTube, so I decided not to do that. If you and I know everybody has seen the movie The Lion King, especially the original one. The original one is way better than the remake. So if you have not seen The Lion King, make sure you watch the very first Lion King from 1995, I believe, 1994. The original animated version, way better. Why am I talking about The Lion King? Well, The Lion King in many ways is an allegory. It's based on Hamlet. You have the same types of things that are going on in Hamlet that you have in The Lion King. So there's another option for you if you want to, if you're having trouble reading Hamlet and understanding the language. Number one, you can always email or call me. I will be more than happy to walk it through and explain in detail what's happening within that particular scene, and why the language is important, and what the characters are meaning by some of the types of words that they're using. At the same time, you can always refer back to The Lion King as well. If you haven't seen it in a while, pop it in while you're writing your paper. there are many, many themes and motifs that are shared between those two. You have the family dynamic, all right, because what's going on in Hamlet is that um, his father dies, and his uncle takes over as king, and of course you've got that dynamic there between the rightful heir to the throne and the usurper. Okay, there's a motif right there between the usurper and the rightful heir to the throne. You also have family dynamics that are going on here. Um, the relationship between Hamlet and his uncle, and Hamlet and the rest of the members of his family. Um, Not only that, but you also have a motif of madness. Okay, because what Hamlet is experiencing is incredibly traumatic. And there are going to be times where you question whether or not Hamlet is truly mad, or if he's appearing to be mad in order to concoct a scheme. Okay. Another theme or motif would be revenge. Okay. Revenge is an important motif in this play as well. So make sure that you, in fact, you can do some outside research in addition to some of the study materials that I'm going to upload to the Blackboard today to kind of help you through that. To give you things to think about while you're going through the play. Instances of irony are also extremely important. So in the beginning of the introductory to the class, we talked about verbal irony and situational irony and dramatic irony. You'll want to revisit and kind of are aware of them as they can occur in the play, because you'll want to talk about those in your paper as well, in addition to answering those questions. Okay. So going back to drama, we're looking at character, we're looking at setting, we're looking at themes and motifs, and looking at irony. You can also bring about some attention to symbolism and imagery. Many times that the characters will refer to a certain object or some type of symbol. There's always a hidden meaning in there, so you'll want to make sure that you're aware of those little things as well. And we will talk about that. I'll post some additional videos this week, the different acts and the things that are going through from act to act and scene to scene. There'll be some supplemental videos in it. This is just an introduction. So we're talking about character, plot, theme, and irony, dramatic, verbal, situational, in addition to imagery and symbolism. The third section that I really want you to look at is the instance of soliloquy. Okay. What is a soliloquy? Well, it's a fancy term for a segment in the play in which one character, usually the main character, walks off to the corner of the stage. And instead of conversing with the other characters in the play or within the scene, they are not really talking to you, but they give the appearance that they're talking directly to you. Okay. And it's at that moment that you are able to really dive into the mind of the character, because at that moment when the soliloquy starts, you're going to really hear the true thoughts and feelings that character is experiencing at that moment within the play. Okay, so soliloquies are extremely important, not only to understand the element of character and to better define who that character is, what their or his or her intentions are, motivations. The other thing it allows you to do is get a little bit of exposition about the setting and the plot and what is going to transpire from that moment that the soliloquy is happening to the end of the play. Okay, and Hamlet has a few soliloquies in there, some that are very famous. To be or not to be, that is the question. That's another one of the famous soliloquy moments within the play, that you can really get inside of Hamlet's mind and try to understand what his motivations are. Number one, is he really mad? Okay. And when I say mad, I'm not talking about just angry. I'm talking about, has he lost the ability to reason because of this emotional trauma that he has experienced? Is he still able to logically process what is happening at that time, and in his ability to interact and deal with other characters, especially Ophelia, the love interest in the play? If you want to talk about his relationship with her, and I think that's one of the topics that you can talk about, the theme of love and interactivity between Hamlet and Ophelia. Um, those soliloquies are extremely important if you're going to analyze that aspect of the play. Okay. All right. So again, this is, like I said, this is just a brief introduction. I wanted to give you a few things to think about while you're going through the play. At this point, you probably have gotten through Act Two already. Tomorrow, I'm going to come back with another video that I've already recorded. I just got to upload it. And we will discuss some of the characters and the plot that have transpired within Act One and Act Two, to get you ready for Act Three and Act Four. On Act Three is when you're going to see and Act Four is when you're going to see that the conflict really start to take shape and gather steam. So everything that we're going to be talking about in Act One and Act Two is extremely important to understand how the events are going to lead up to this conflict between Hamlet and his uncle, and not only Hamlet and his uncle, but also Hamlet and other characters. We'll get into that later. I don't want to do any spoiler alerts for those who have not read the play yet, but we will definitely talk about some of the exposition. I'll set the stage, talk in depth about these characters, so that by the time you get into Acts 3 and 4, you really start to see or can better understand what's going on with this play. And again, The Lion King is extremely helpful. On top of being my favorite movie of all time, the original version, if you really are having a tough time understanding the language that Shakespeare is using in this play and understanding what's going on between these characters, The Lion King will help you with that. Now, there are some differences, especially in the plot, but in Simba's personality and ability to interact with other characters is different than Hamlet. But there's enough commonality there, especially in the themes and the motifs, to give you excuse me, to give you a general understanding of what's going on. Okay. All right. So I hope this video was extremely helpful. Again, I apologize for the delay. There's been a lot going on this week, so but we have plenty of time. We have 3 to 4 weeks to go. There's plenty of time to traverse through the play, to really center in on your topic. Once you define that topic or selected that topic, just go through the list of questions. And as you're reading the play, make sure that you're able to answer those questions. All right. Not only from using information from the play, but also bringing in information from outside sources that can help you back up some of the points that you're wanting to talk about while you're answering those questions. Okay. Again, if you're having trouble, and I know some people will, feel free to email me, feel free to call me or text me, and we'll set up a little personal tutorial, and you'll be able to answer, ask your questions, and I'll work with you one-on-one to help you get caught up and to understand what we're trying to do with Hamlet here. Okay. All right. So again, just a brief overview. We talked about character, plot, theme, irony in the instances of verbal irony, dramatic irony, and situational irony, and then smaller elements of you're welcome, Miss Avery. Smaller elements of imagery and symbolism that can help you, things that you're going to want to look out for while you're reading through Hamlet. Okay, so I'll pause this or end this video for today, and I will also upload some supplemental materials to help you as you're reading through the play, and then we will come back next week. I'll go live again, and we will discuss Acts 1 and Act 2 probably tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, I'll get you caught up, and we'll talk about Acts 3 and 4 on Wednesday. Okay, so you guys have a great rest of the weekend. Thank you, Miss Avery, for logging on and interacting. And I will talk to you again tomorrow. And again, be sure to look at Blackboard today. You'll see things populate in the course content page to help you some other things to think about while you're reading through the play. Okay, and make sure to watch The Lion King. If you have not watched The Lion King, watch The Lion King. You won't be sorry. It's the best movie ever made, period. Okay. All right. You guys take care and have a great rest of your weekend. Stay cool because it's extremely hot outside. So, all right. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.